Hi, today a conversation with Katee Sackhoff, who is a producer on a new movie for Hallmark. Yes, in time for the holidays, a Christmas Cookie Catastrophe. We'll have the former Battlestar Galactica actor in just a moment. So Katee is a producer on a Christmas Cookie Catastrophe, and that premieres on November 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, and it stars Rachel Boston and also Victor Webster. Let's get to the conversation. Well, I'm going to jar your memory a little bit here. We actually spoke years ago.
Okay.
You visited right at the beginning of Battlestar Galactica. You visited a convention on Long Island called Icon.
Yes.
And we did like a little press conference. And
with Richard Hatch.
No, Richard wasn't there. But not at the press conference. He might have been at the con, but not at the press conference.
Not at the press conference, but at the con. I remember it was the first time I met him.
Yeah. So look how far things have changed. It's great.
I know.
I even had hair in those days. No, I don't anymore, unfortunately, but I slept.
Listen, I have definitely have a wrinkle or two that I did not have then. So we're in the same boat.
Don't we all? Well, I'll tell you, this is really interesting because if by any chance Hallmark stopped doing things on Christmas, I'd say, oh my God, what's wrong? You know?
I know. It's so true. It's such a staple. And I have been in Hallmark Christmas movies since as long as I can remember, with my mother and my father. And it's a tradition in our family. They mean so much to me. And, last year I convinced my husband to watch one with me. I was like, you should write one. And he watched them with me. And I think a quarter of the way through or 3/4 of the way through, he's crying and he goes, what? How did they do this to me? What is happening? And so we started, producing and writing Hallmark Christmas movies together.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
And this one is a Christmas Cookie Catastrophe. I love Victor Webster. I mean, I've actually talked to him a few times going back to his Mutant X days. Great actor. And Rachel, never had the pleasure. Rachel Boston. It looks like they had really good chemistry on this one, too. So.
They did. Every night we would sit and we would watch the dailies again, and we would just be charmed all over again by the two of them together. And the supporting cast is just spot on. I mean, what's so much fun about this movie is that it is, especially compared to our last movie, The Christmas Sale, is that this is so lighthearted and doesn't take itself seriously. And I love that. I love that we've sort of done, both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm. Just briefly what the plot is, essentially, I think she inherits a company, it's from her family.
Yes.
And there's this amazing cookie recipe and it gets stolen. So she has to play detective. So Victor is brought in because they actually try to recreate the recipe because they can't find it. And there hangs the tale, so to speak.
Yes. So. She thinks that if she can recreate the recipe fast enough, that no one will notice that it got stolen.
Yeah.
Because, and it was stolen in multiple places. So it's, obviously the first with our technology these days, you go to the computers and you think, well, maybe it's there and it's gone there. And so it's, it's one of those things where she's trying to figure out who would have done it and who would have done it to the company and who could have done it to her and who has something to gain. And she ends up meeting Sam, who is a local baker. And she initially may actually, accuse him of the crime. And, hilarity ensues. So it's such a fun Christmas movie, and it's got some wonderful heart, really, really lovely relationships, and I'm just excited for everyone to see it.
Mm-hmm. And your husband wrote it and you're one of the producers. So, hey, it's a family affair here. That's great.
It is a family affair. This is the plan for, the foreseeable future. I don't think Hallmark's going to get rid of me anytime soon. And the plan is to continue to not only produce them and my husband write them, but to also continue to be in them as well. But I also have to share the love. And Rachel was absolutely phenomenal. I would see her performance. Like I said, we'd watch the dailies and I would see her performance and be like, oh my gosh, she's just so seamlessly funny. She makes it look so easy. And I was learning a thing or two. So
now, as I understand it, you actually contributed little things to the script based on your own life a little bit.
Yes, no, absolutely. So the way that we come up with these is that I love a good title. It's literally my favorite thing. And we have to agree that all Hallmark Christmas movies have a title that hooks you and you know exactly what's happening. And so that's the way that we create these movies is I sit down and I come up with a title and my husband goes and does the heavy lifting and figures out what the story actually is. And we sit down and we break it down together. And then we had phenomenal producers at Hallmark. You know, they hold your hand through the process and they make sure that, you know, you want to hit every single thing that Hallmark does really well. And they want to make sure that you stay on point and that the brand stays the same and that it's evolving, but staying true to its heart. And so they are vital to the process. But we go through it and then I read the scenes with him and we change dialogue and we add new stuff in. So he by far does the heavy lifting, but I'd like to say that I have a hand in some of it for sure.
Well, this is going to premiere on Sunday, November 27th. And the day before the 26th, A Tale of Two Christmases. This is interesting where essentially a person gets to have a choice on and live two different Christmases. One staying home and one getting back with the family. So that should be interesting to do as well. I mean, we'd all like to do that sometime, is to kind of see how one turns out in the other. So that's a nice follow-up for you guys.
It is a nice follow-up. And I just saw that my friend Paul Campbell is in, of course, another Christmas movie. And it's a take on Three Men and a Baby. And I just love it. I love it. How funny. Such a great idea and such a great movie. I literally, sometimes I kick myself that I don't come up with these ideas.
Hey, another Battlestar family member too. So that's great. You know, I tell you.
True. There's definitely been a few of us over there. I think that I've done one. Trisha's done a few. You know, Paul's over there. I think Rekha Sharma's been over there. So we spread the love throughout the entire Battlestar cast.
Awesome. How do you look back on Starbuck? The original Starbuck, I thought was, basically, apologies to Dirk, he was doing Han Solo, but by making Starbuck a woman, which was, I thought, brilliant. Yeah. And then you playing her, it became something much more, and the character was able to really grow, and I really love that.
Thank you so much. You know, they're two different characters and, you know, Dirk played his Starbuck one way and, you know, I definitely played mine a different way. I think that it would have been hard for me to have played the character even remotely the way that he did, because I was a 21-year-old woman, you know, going through 21-year-old woman problems in my own personal life. And that angst can't help but pepper itself into a portrayal of a character, you know, and so Starbuck became a much more amplified version of my angsty 21-year-old self.
Hey, thank you for listening to Sci-Fi Talk, but stick around. I have more. Let's get back to Sci-Fi Talk. I'm Tony Tolato. Well, I tell you, another character playing her in animation and live action, Bo-Katan. And I'll tell you, she did not miss a beat. You going, you know, literally going in and playing her physically. Amazing stuff. I love the whole Mandalorian, storyline. I thought that was fantastic. And hopefully we'll see her again.
Well, she's definitely in season 3. So I tried to have a busy year with Christmas Cookie coming out November 27th, and then Mandalorian coming out in February, and then this movie that I'm leaving for on tomorrow will come out later that next year. So people will have a bunch of Katee.
Yes, well, I tell you, I have to say, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Your performance on Another Life, I thought you took Nico to a whole nother level. And I think it's some of the finest work you did because there was a lot of conflict. And man, you had to bring it every single episode. And you were in a lot of scenes too. So that was fantastic. I'm sorry to see her go.
Thank you. It was one of the first things that I produced from start to finish. And it gave me the bug to want to produce more, which is what sort of led to the Hallmark Christmas movies as well. There's I felt a lot of responsibility for that show to work because I had a hand in creating it. Yeah. And, a lot of times when you work with networks, even when you create something, you have to adhere to what they want the show to be. And you may disagree on certain things, but it doesn't change the fact that you want it to be successful and you work your butt off because, people's jobs depend on it. And so I went in and really, really tried to keep it going. And I worked probably the hardest I've ever worked over 2 seasons. And especially the second season was right in the middle of COVID. We were one of the first shows to get back up and to keep crew morale up and to keep people coming to work prepared and to keep people safe and to keep people employed was incredibly difficult. And our producing team and Netflix were really, really phenomenal during that time. Listen, not many shows survive when you've got 2 years between season 1 and season 2 airing. It just doesn't happen. So I wasn't surprised, but I was disappointed for sure. But at the same time, it did allow me to go and, do another season of The Mandalorian. So things happen for a reason, but I was definitely disappointed to see her go.
Briefly, Batman: The Long Halloween, the voice work was great.
Thank you.
And also, congratulations. It looks like something else you're working on called Rain is going to happen too, from what I hear.
Trying to, that was something that I created again from start to finish. And it's had a lot of tragedy around it, sadly. So I think it is something that we have put to bed for now. My producing partner, my creative partner passed away when I was with him. And then my producing partner passed away unexpectedly. So I took that as a sign that it was not meant to be, and that that I would leave it with just the beautiful memories of working with those 2 extraordinary men. So it's actually probably not going to happen. I don't see it happening. I see it just sort of living in my head now, but that doesn't mean I'm done. Trust me. There's so many things. My husband and I have so many projects we're working on, and there's some pretty good sci-fi stuff in there. So
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, this looks like a lot of fun, this movie. And, it's like the holidays are upon us. The ads have already, been bombarding us on TV. So we're getting ready for it. Yeah. And, we're going away ourselves, but not for work. A little bit of work, but some pleasure down, going south. But, everybody's going to be traveling and stuff. But there is something about sitting in front of the fireplace, if you have one, and with a little bit of eggnog, I'll be spiked, and watching a Hallmark movie. So it should be fun.
It's exactly where I'm going to be, but I'm going to be watching it on my phone probably. From across the world, but I will I'm incredibly excited. Our families are all going to be here for Thanksgiving, and everyone's going to watch it on Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm really excited.
How has producing been for you? Is that like tapping into a whole nother creative avenue for you?
It is, for sure. I absolutely love producing. I love creative producing. I don't see myself going out and raising funds. I don't see myself doing that. At this point, you never know. I'm a problem solver on set. I've been doing this now for almost 30 years. Wow. And I don't know how to do everyone's job. That is absolutely not what I know how to do. But when I see a problem, I can usually figure out a solution. And I love love problem solving on set. It's one of my favorite things because I like to move quickly and efficiently. And, I like to get everyone home to their families in a normal amount of time. That is always my goal. I would love to do less than 12-hour days. But get the work, get the good work, So I love producing. I love being sort of an advocate for the actors, but also sort of a mediary. I get to straddle both worlds, which at times can be challenging.
Sure.
Especially when you're on set. But it is something, I think it's just a natural progression to my career at this point. And I love it, and I love creating projects for other people. At a certain point, I can't play every role that we create and we produce because I'm too busy, but B, I'm also aging out of a lot of the characters that we've created. And so it wouldn't necessarily be right to cast myself as, a 28-year-old anymore. There are better actresses out there that fill that spot. So I do see myself transitioning, but not anytime too soon.
Well, there's nothing wrong with maturity, though. Let me tell you, that's not a bad thing either. That's a good thing.
Very true. It's very true.
That's a good thing. For Cookie Catastrophe, how much time was there allowed for shooting for this?
So these movies are really quick. It's one of the things that I love about them. They take over a year to create sometimes. Wow. And they take about 14 days to shoot. So they are fast and it takes a crew that is talented. It takes a crew that communicates well. It takes leaders that communicate well because you have to keep moving. So you're problem solving on the fly because problems do arise and you just keep going. So actors have to show up prepared. I love that. I love when everyone comes to work, does their job, does it well, has a smile on their face, and gets to go home early. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah.
Were you on the set at all or during the filming?
So we weren't. We had a family emergency and had to stay back home, but we were involved in it every step of the way, and we were watching those dailies daily. So yeah, that was the plan, but things sort of fell apart at the last minute. But
when did you finally see the finished product?
We saw the finished product. What month are we in? November?
Yeah, November. Last time I looked, yeah.
Mommy brain. I would say October, not too long ago. Yeah, this is a quick one. We shot really fast and they, turned it around quite quickly.
Well, fantastic. Well, it's A Christmas Cookie Catastrophe, and it's premiering on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern and Pacific through the magic of technology. And be sure to catch before that A Tale of Two Christmases, Saturday, the day before, November 26th, the same thing at 6 p.m. Eastern time and Pacific. The beauty of that time is everybody can see it, which is what a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, I've seen your growth as an artist, and it's just been amazing from that young woman I met at the convention years ago, and where you've gone, and look at you now producing and doing all these great things. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure. All right. We'll be watching the movie. You take care.
Fantastic. You take care too.
Have a safe flight. All right.
Have a phenomenal vacation and a beautiful holiday season.
Happy holidays to you and yours as well. All right.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So check out A Christmas Cookie Catastrophe. That's on Sunday, November 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. And then also A Tale of Two Christmases premiering Saturday, November 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. And this features Kat Burrell, who we remember from Winona Earp. So check that one out as well, both on the Hallmark Channel. This is Tony Tellado. Thanks for listening.